All right.
So one thing I do usually enable, especially for panels and sometimes for chairs, it just depends, is that routing step recap, that first option.
Mm-hmm.
Upon routing step completion, email all completed reviews to all reviewers assigned to this step. So that gives everybody a recap of what's been done.
Okay.
It sends them and says, this is what you submitted, just as a reminder. But you don't have to enable that. You can. It's just more email that the chair might not want.
And we can always uncheck it at any point.
Correct.
Right.
We always leave the identities of other reviewers anonymous.
This one?
No, then the routing step recap, that second choice. Each reviewer may see the identities of other reviewers. Down. There. We leave that anonymous.
Right.
And then, but what we do for second.
Now, see, that's part of the confusion. The reviews of other reviewers are the review committee, but they can see the dean's review. That's
so
a different
if there are previous routing steps, include those reviews as well.
Okay.
So you don't need to check that for this one because this is the dean's routing step, but I would include it on the second routing step, which is the panel reviews. You do want them to be able to see the dean's reviews.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
So I would check that box for the panels.
Okay, but now you're not.
But now I wouldn't.
Okay.
Because there's not previous routing steps anyhow, so it doesn't matter. That's a moot point. And then if you want to require reviewer acknowledgement, like making them do a digital signature, that's step 2, that thing at the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's defaulted to I do not want to include an acknowledgement statement. That's if you want them to attest that they did this review on their own, or that's really more important for students.
For the review committee?
Yeah, that's really more important when you have students doing evaluations or things like that. So then you need to add a routing step for the review committee. And then you need to, do they have a rubric? So what type of...
They will have a rubric.
Okay, are you going to, this is where we need to answer some questions. Are you going to upload a rubric for them to complete and then upload? Or do you want the rubric to be interactive in comments and ratings?
I think we'll want it interactive. That way it lives within the system.
Okay, so before you can build this routing step with me here, you need to know how many criteria are on that rubric. Because you can't change it once you start. So you can't make a selection and say 18 review criteria and then be like, oh no, I was wrong, it's 19. It'll delete everything, you have to start over. Which is really super annoying. Trust me, I learned the very hard way about that. So you'll need to make sure that we can do a sample here just so I can show you how it works.
Yeah, let's do that, and then I can delete it.
And then you'll need to be prepared. You'll have to kind of really know what you're doing.
Yeah, and what I'll do is go back and find our rubric and figure out how many we have.
Yeah, so you'll want the rubric right in front of you, and it'll all the better if you have it digitally. Then you can copy and paste that rubric information.
Yeah, right now it's in a spreadsheet, so that's why I want it in the system.
Yeah. So when you click that drop down for routing step type, it says 1 comments and ratings now. Order is step 2. Comments and ratings. It's comments and ratings combination is what you want, and the numbers to the left indicate how many criteria you have. Okay, so if you have 9 criteria, you make a selection. But for example, let's do way less than 9. Let's do 4.
Okay.
And so what that will do is when you scroll down, name it whatever you want.
So this would be review committee.
Yeah, review committee or panel reviews or whatever you want to call it.
Let's call it panel review. Okay.
Redundant, yeah. So then scroll down. You don't have to include reviewer instructions, but if you want to, you can put some there. It's pretty obvious, though, when they go in and get an assignment what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
You don't have to add an attachment for them to submit unless you were doing a document upload. Same thing, comments to administrator. I always toggle that off because that just confuses people. Okay, so this is where you build in the rubric. So the label, how I use it is I put the label as the criteria. So scholarly and creative merit of the application, for example. And then maybe I elaborate a little bit about what that means for this particular competition specifically.
Now, is this an overall or is this a criteria number 1?
Criteria number 1.
Okay.
Yep. And then, so that's going to tell them what that is. And then the instructions, I say, please rate the application on the above criteria criterion using the following scale. And I tell them what the scale is in this one. And then I elaborate what the scale is. We use, depending on the competition, but a 3-point scale or a 5-point scale. And so I tell them what 1 means, what 2 means, what 3 means, what 4 means, what 5 means.
We've got a Likert scale for that. There's instructions in that, so I'll just put that in.
Yeah, so you'll put that in there and tell them what it is. And so then scroll down. So they'll have this text box, and that will be what they fill out. You don't type anything in there. And then the rating at the bottom. So then you edit the rating range. So what you need to do next. So if it's a 5-point scale, you put 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And if you like 1 as the highest value, do it that way, but you'll have to remember to do it every time. The default is low to high. Okay. And then, so what will happen when the reviewer is looking at their screen and they're reading the criterion, it'll tell you what the rating scale means. And then at the bottom where the scale is, it'll say strong, which direction, and weak, which direction. So they have a visual reminder of what that means. The quirky thing about it is, while they have to put in a rating scale, they do have to select a number. They also have to put a comment in the box. As an administrator, I really like that because it forces them to provide feedback, and we give feedback to all of our applicants. And I like to know how they're making the decisions, and so if we get questions, there's always
required.
They will have to fill it out. People are going to be like, what do you mean I have to fill it out? They have to fill it out. Have to fill out the box. So that's another weird thing about the system. If you don't want them to fill out the box, control negative, I guess. Command.
How in the world I did that?
So if you don't want them to fill out the box and you just want them to do a Likert scale sort of situation, then you need to have them do a document upload. I like the forced comments. They can always write NA in there or whatever. If you want to give them that option as an out, you can say, if you don't have any comments, just write NA in the box to complete your review.
And that goes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stop, fingers.
Mm-hmm. So you go down for each criteria and fill out this thing. So the question or the label is the actual criteria, the instructions. I reiterate what the scale is, and then you can tell them if they don't have any comments. Put NA. Yeah.
So this is criteria 1. This is criteria 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I added that in the wrong place, didn't I?
You did, but if you'll remember.
Yeah, you just need to add that for each one of them.
You do.
Okay.
And then you'll have to edit the rating range for each one. Some people use if your scale is weighted, they build in the rating scale, the rating range to reflect the weight. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it all being the same, everything being weighted the same. For all of our competitions, they're all weighted the same. So we just use a 1 to 5 scale for each one. But you can make the rating range 1 to 100 if you wanted. Right. So that's at your discretion.
Okay. So criteria 2, this would be criteria 3,
correct.
And so forth and so
on. We chose 4, so there's 4 options there. And then same here. So for this one, you'll want it to, the very last option under routing step recap, if there are previous routing step, include those reviews as well. You'll want to make sure that box is checked for the panel because you'll want them to be able to see if the dean approved or not.
It's not let me choose it.
Oh, yeah, there's no following step. That's not the one we're talking about.
Oh, which one?
Under routing step recap. The last one there.
Sorry. This one?
Yes.
Not let me choose that one.
It's not letting you choose that one. Why is that?
None of those are.
Why can't you click them? There's no next route. Oh, there was the box that you should be able to click now. So don't click that one because that's not, you did, okay. And then scroll down and then you should be able to select. Yes, there you go.
Okay, that's what's happening. My screen got wonky on me. Ooh. I did some kind of zoom in within that.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep that there.
So that will enable the reviewers of this step to see the dean or chair's acknowledgement or approval or whatever.
Viewers access all applications, not just the one they're reviewing.
We don't do that.
So this is other reviewers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that would be that a reviewer would have access to every application submitted in the competition. They just won't have a
Which they
review.
should anyway.
Yes,
ours.
if they're all reviewing all the applications,
Right.
then that's a moot point. But
So
this is like for URC, we have different panels, so not
Right.
everybody sees all the applications. And then I do a completed review.
you do this one?
Yeah, for their panels.
Okay.
But they will always have access to the reviews that they did in the system under their reviews tab. They'll be able to see every application they've ever reviewed and what they said. So that's good.
Yeah, and you don't show the reviewer identities.
I don't.
Will I, as the administrator of this, see who has done what?
Yes.
Okay, I assume so.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how that works. Does that clarify for you?
It's much easier.
And routing steps, so you could have a bajillion routing steps, and you can change their order easily. You can drag and drop or change their order in the step drop-down menu. So that you can do if you need.
Okay.
But you need the funny thing is that you need to know exactly how many criteria you have and choose the number to the left, which indicates criteria.
So I will have to delete this and go back in and re-add it.
Mhm, probably, unless you magically have your rubric has 4 criteria.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of me.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I've got it recorded, so I know I can fix it now.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this, got that.
Mm-hmm. And then you can be done or add another routing step, whichever. And you can
I
go
don't
to
think we
next.
need another routing step, do we?
I mean, I sometimes have 3 for various reasons. For URC, we have 3 because panel chairs have to make the final decisions after they meet. And then sometimes I give Etche final word. So Etche sees all of our applications.
Do we need that if we're going to use a system to notify candidates?
No. I mean, you can, if you are just looking at all the holistic reviews and deciding and then notifying, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because you're the administrator.
Okay.
So that's it.
So I don't think we would need another step, to tell you the truth.
Then go to next.
Hey, here.
And this is the notifications. So it tells you whenever you want notifications. You can add co-administrators or other recipients.
Right. For now, we're going to have everything go to that account. So
Okay.
Lisa, I told Lisa, I said, we may get 1,000 emails. She said, that's fine. I'll delete them. I said, okay. If not, we'll uncheck it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it will be a lot.
Yeah. All right. I said, I'm not
And
putting
then
my
this
email.
is the template. So if you have language that you want to change for any of the automated emails, so we talked about this briefly when I showed you the system.
Right.
So if you want to click that select template button.
And that was the question I had. Do we make all the changes on each one of these here? Or that was sort of confusing.
If you want it to be attributed across the board, then you change it here. If you want it to be on a case-by-case basis, then don't change it here. You'll just edit it before you send it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if you
So
want,
it will pop. So if I choose one of these to send out, it'll
Mhm.
give me the option to change before we actually send the notice.
yes. Mhm.
And that's probably going to be fine. So I
Okay.
don't think we're going to automate it to that step. But yeah, so if I wanted to,
Like what we change a lot is award application and reject application. That's
Mhm.
our award letter and our declination notice. So I changed the template here because it's annoying to have to change it in 37 applications every single time I'm awarding or declining.
Okay. Is there a place where I can change the language? What goes to the deans
That
in
is
the email?
that is reviewer request.
So that's back.
So no, that's the one that's currently checked actually. So review
Okay.
request. You can change the template here, and that will be what goes to the dean. And then you can edit it. You'll have to edit it whenever you send it to panels. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. But since I can't.
Because this will happen automatically when they click the submit button.
Right, this will.
Yes,
Yeah,
you won't have the option to change the email.
And
for
we
that.
asked them for the name and email address for that, right? So it'll automatically
It'll
pop up.
automatically go. It'll say, hello, ALDP at appstate.edu has requested your assistance to act as
But I'm
a
trying to remember, does it request the name of the person and an email address? So we'll put their name in there?
No, it'll just say hello. It'll say hello.
Well, this populates a name from somewhere.
It's admin name, so it's who made the competition. So it'll be the Academic Leadership Development Program.
Oh, I
It'll
see.
say,
how
hello,
it
the
is.
Academic Leadership Development
yeah.
Program has requested your assistant to act as a reviewer for the Chancellor's Leadership Development Program application system or whatever. There's an application ready for your review.
Okay. So I change this, I save the template,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I wanted to change another one, I go back up here and select another one, change it template. Okay.
Yes.
That was what was confusing, whether I made all the changes here and resaved it, or if I had to go to a different location to save it.
No, normally when you activate an automated email from the system, a little screen will pop up showing you the draft of what's going to go out, and it's like an editable, email screen, and you can type in or delete or whatever. But the only time that does not happen is the applicant driven routing steps, and so that Dean email will look just like this unless you change it.
Okay. And then save it as a template, and it'll automatically be generated.
Correct. That's correct.
Awesome. That makes sense then.
And those are the mail merge fields options
Right.
that you have.
So once an application is complete, we send it to the review committee.
Yes. So once that won't happen automatically, you'll have to do that manually.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you can do it all at once, but what you'll do to do that, I'm trying to think if I can show you. I can't show you. I'll have to show you on that, which is fine. But to do that, you'll do it from that application screen, the grid, the application grid that I showed you. And so that'll have the listing of everybody's application that they've submitted, and then there's checkboxes to the left, and you multi-select, and you say assign reviewers, and then you put in the panelists' email addresses, and then that will send it to the panelists.
Okay.
But what will happen automatically is they'll go to the deans for review. And then you'll be able to log in and see, as the administrator, whose dean approvals are still missing. And you can select that dean approval to happen runs concurrently with the following routing step, so that you can go ahead and start the panel reviews before they have dean approval if you want.
I don't want to.
But you probably don't want
Because we require that approval before they can be accepted.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
So you go in, let me show you. So you have two application grid options, but if you go to either one, you'll see all the people who applied, and they'll have these checkboxes here. And then you'll have the option to batch application actions, and you can award or reject or assign reviewers. And once you assign reviewers, you'll select the appropriate routing step, and then it'll give you the email template that you can adjust, and then it'll send it out from there all at once.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Progress report, this is going to be a follow-up or a final report. If you want, that you have it checked, don't require a final report, but if you want a final report.
Yeah, because most of this was connected to funding.
It is. You can change all of those. I mean, you can add new fields and make those excluded. Those are just the default ones. So you can add fields. It's grayed out because you have that don't require.
So what are some of those options?
So you can add, it's just like building a web form. So the field type is selected as date right now, but you can do multiple choice, number field, text box, text field, yes, no question. So you can build whatever type of web form you want them to fill out. You also can do it as a file upload, so you can make them fill out a report, just like the review option you have to have them fill out a rubric.
I don't think I have anything yet.
But you just just to get rid of all the default ones, you just make them all excluded. So they're in drop down right there, excluded, optional, required. Just exclude all of them. Or you can edit them. They're text fields. They'll tell you what they are, and you can just change the name and change the instructions and build it from there.
Yeah. I don't know that we'll need or want this.
But if you do, it's there, and the system will automatically send reminders and things to the people if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so then, right, exactly. If you have terms and conditions for the applicant, this is a good place for them to put that.
Right, and we're going to finalize what those are. Okay.
And then you hit save edits because you've launched this already.
No.
It says it's launched.
How did it launch? I did not launch it.
see if it's showing up as launch. Oh, rolling all over my jacket.
Oh no.
Sorry, jacket.
I want it unlaunched.
It's not showing as launch.
That's weird because I don't remember, because I remember seeing the launch and I did not do it. I just saved it as a draft.
Yeah, that's weird. Just save it as a draft again under finalize.
Yeah.
Or scroll down. I don't know why it's showing that.
You can see that I can't even change the competition options.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird.
Well, if that becomes a problem later, let me know. Go to your Manage tab. Oh, it's because it's a template. It's already a template. That's why I showed
Oh,
like
okay.
that. You were editing the template,
Right.
not the draft.
Because you told me to make it a template or you lose everything.
Did,
So
yes,
I said,
you,
I'm
you
changing.
need to save it as a template. So just know the date. So the draft didn't update because you updated the template.
Okay.
So you'll want to launch from template.
Launch from the template and not here.
Mm-hmm. And to launch from a template, you're going to have to do something a little funky when you're ready. So just let me know. I'll tell you how to do it.
Okay.
It's easy, but it is a little weird.
So now how do I enter in the editors, the reviewers? I did not see a place to do that.
Okay, you won't do that until you have applications.
Oh, okay. So you can't add that until you have
You
it.
can add default reviewers, but that I would only recommend doing that if they're going to always be your reviewers forever until the end of time.
Okay.
But you don't know that, right? I'm
No,
assuming they're going to
they'll
be
change.
different every year or every few years. So I just wait till you have applicants,
Okay.
and then whenever you have applications and you're ready to assign them to the panel reviewers, just do it like that batch application action that I showed you on my computer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What other questions do you have?
I think that's it. So view process here. Here's a preview of it.
Mm-hmm.
So applicant name, email address, phone number.
Primary organization, I usually turn that off because that is intended for us to manage departmental use of the tool, and we don't really.
I thought I had that turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
It would be on the next screen.
And the other thing that just showed up that I thought we put something in is the document title.
Mm-hmm.
By default, no. I guess I didn't.
Yeah. And then hit save edit. So
No, the proposal title. I have something in here, but it's not
it
showing.
doesn't show up in the preview screen for whatever reason,
okay.
which is really annoying.
Oh.
It does show up for like actual applicants, but I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't show up. No help text shows up on the preview screen, which is really stupid and annoying. So, yeah, that's one of my other things I don't.
So let's go back in here and preview that again. So, okay, I'm not losing my mind.
No.
Where's it?
It's not going to let you preview from template. You're going to have to go back to your draft, which is we just changed a bunch of stuff. And
yeah.
So, like, this is part of the weird thing that I'm going to show you.
See, that's still showing up.
I know, because you edited the template, not the draft.
Oh.
Yeah, you with me?
Yeah. Okay. So again, do everything in the template for now, and then once we get ready, we'll do
So when I can just show you, you may need to be reminded, but so let's say that you're ready to launch.
Mm-hmm.
Go to create. And then go to template at standard. It's that gray little box there. Change. Choose your template. I was thinking. Okay, and then you change the title. So it says untitled template, but you just change the title. And then that's all you have to do. And you can go to the finalize page. Oh, it's telling you something. It didn't put in the deadline. You got to put a new deadline in. You have to update the deadline because you're doing it from a template. You're with me?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do all this right now, but this is how you do it.
This is how
when
you
you're
make
ready.
it live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we chose the 5th, it should let me do it. Okay.
So that's how you.
So now.
So now you have a new draft.
So it has not been launched.
Nope.
Okay.
Wait, is that what it says?
Yep. This has not
Okay.
been launched.
So that's a draft. So now you have a new draft that's time stamped or date stamped.
And this is the preview, exactly what they'll be seeing.
More or less. I mean, yeah, it'll look.
I mean, they won't see this information.
Correct.
Yeah, we're going to clean up some of this language here, but. Okay.
Yeah. So now you'll be able to launch from this draft.
Okay.
That's the updated one. And for your sanity's sake, I'd go back to the Manage tab. Just click Manage at the top. And then delete the old template from March 12th with that little trash can icon right there. And it'll say, are you sure? It should say, are you sure?
I don't see it. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my plan is to get it there and actually go through and put in some dummy data just to make sure everything. The first time through, when put myself in it as editor and some other stuff just to check some things before we go live.
Yeah, and if you need me to do it too, if you need
Okay.
to be in as a reviewer, you can do that.
Okay. I think that's the bulk of it. And then once we get it in there, I'll go ahead and I'll try to get the our rubric and everything in there this week. So early next week, I'll hopefully be ready to.
Yeah, do that in the template. Well, yeah, do it.
So that was the other question I had. Do I work in the template to update this, or do I?
It'll save you time in the long run.
That's what I assumed.
And then you'll just need to remember that whenever you want to launch from the template, you have to go to create and then use the template. Because you're in a draft. Because draft is over there.
Right.
So, yeah. The other option you have is to work in the draft and then save it as a new template.
Okay.
And delete your old template. So you can
All
do
right.
that too, whichever your preference is.
Well, that's enough to get me started working on it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.